last home game tomorrow. I mean, what has the process been like this last 11 months? I mean, the season's been sort of up and down. I mean, how has your relationship with them evolved? And it seems like there was a point in time where maybe it wasn't so hot, and then it seems to have elasticized, I guess.
I think that when you go through a season, there's ebbs and flows to it, emotionally, relationally, but I think that these guys have known from the outset that I'm out for them, I'm for their success, I'm for their experience, and despite the fact that the season hasn't gone like any of us would have hoped, I feel like that my relationship with them has remained very good, and I'm very happy that I've had the opportunity to coach them. It's been an interesting experience, a learning experience for me. It probably has been for them as well, so I'm sure when I sit back after the season's over with and assess how I approached year one, there will be some things that I wish I might have done a little bit differently, but I think for the most part I'll say to myself that I would have done a lot of the things the same way, so I feel good about how I've coached these seniors and how I've grown with them and gotten to know them. But you always wish there could have been more highs and less lows when you get to the end of the season.
Kevin, in your experience, in your previous coaching stops, the seniors that were there when you kind of took over the program, how important are they in kind of establishing that culture and kind of laying the groundwork?
Well, I think that that can be answered in a couple of different ways. One is that if they're the right kind of seniors and they put the right kind of foundation down and lay the right kind of culture down, then it's a really positive thing. If they're not, then there's a rebuild when they leave and kind of a reboot, if you will, so that you can start. And I've had both, and in my two head coaching jobs, my three head coaching jobs, I've inherited pretty large senior classes in each instance, and I've had it go different ways to where you felt like you had to rewire the whole thing after that first season, and sometimes where you felt like you were able to establish some things with that first group that could carry forward. So these guys have been through a lot. They've been through a lot of ups and downs, I think, over the course of their career, and the one thing that I'm confident of is I'm confident that they'll be able to use those experiences as they go forward in their life to their benefit, because they've learned to some degree how to respond to adversity and how to pick themselves up and keep going.
Do you think that, to use your word, you might have to rewire next season?
Well, I think that there will be a lot of rewiring simply because of the amount of turnover that we'll have. I mean, we'll go from having four guys that have played a lot of basketball to having only a couple of guys that have played a lot of basketball, and so I think there will be a lot of rewiring that will go on that will be necessary just simply because of the amount of experience that we lose and the amount of turnover that we'll have.
You've had a lot of games this year where you played pretty well for a good portion of those games but didn't win.
Right.
How is it you and the coaches reacting to those gut punches, and how are the players reacting to those gut punches?
Those are difficult, and it seems like they only get worse. You know, the Virginia Tech thing was felt to me like the worst one of the year until we got to Wake Forest the other night, and so I think the players get knocked back by it. I think I said this after the Florida State game. I was somewhat surprised at how we played, because I thought that the players had taken a pretty significant gut shot in that Virginia Tech game, and they came back and played one of the best games of the season. I thought we played really, really well for 20 plus minutes the other night at Wake Forest, and only to not come out on the long end of things, and so you hope that the players can continue to respond, and I think they will. I think that the fact that North Carolina's coming in, and the fact that it's senior day, and I'm sure we'll have a good crowd. I think that they'll respond. I hope they do, but it's very difficult.
Any update? Sorry, any update on